Here's the oak wood that we collected from the sawmill our cousin owns. Got some bark and I'll be debarking that this week. So this is the first step of my deer tanning project. I went up to my cousin's lumber yard and got some old oak bark and trees. I've been taking it and chopping it off of it. I just kind of like peel it off right here. I use like this tool, hammer it in, and then I take it right here and I'll chop it. Here, I'll show you that. As you can see, I've gotten a decent amount of bark. It's not super high quality bark. Some of it looked like it's been rained on some, so we'll see how it goes. I'll take you to show you what it looks like after it's been boiled. Okay, so here is some of the bark liquor after it's been boiled. I just watched Skill Colt's video again and saw that you're actually not supposed to quite boil it because it degrades some of the tannins, but we'll see how this works. I've got a test piece that I've made right now. I've already limed it and scraped a lot of the flesh off of it. Here, I'll open that up. Here's one of the test pieces that I did. I messaged Skill Colt on YouTube and he told me that it'd be a good idea to do some test pieces before I did the whole skin, so that's what I'm doing. As you can see, this is the hair side. It's real smooth, the skin. This is the flesh side. There's still some stuff I need to get off. I'm not entirely sure what is the flesh and what's the membrane, because they told me, I've seen that the membrane's supposed to come off pretty easily once it's been in the tanning solution for a day. So I'm gonna keep trying to scrape this over the next couple days while it soaks in the water to get the lime out, and then I'll if it still doesn't come off, then hopefully it comes off with the bark solution. Here is my first test piece after 1 day in the tanning solution. Me scraping the membrane off. Kind of gotta get that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this for the whole piece yet, or whether I even want this membrane off, but we're gonna make half the test pieces have the membrane off, half have them on. Half will be the more limed and half will be less, and then half will be in a stronger solution and half will be in a weaker solution. To start anyways, I'll strengthen it as needed. Yep, that's right. Hopefully that helps you if you're wondering kind of scraping wise. I'm going to try to get down to this white part. Kind of like right there. It's a lot of scraping, so I don't know if it's worth doing. I was talking to my dad and he said that fuzzy stuff is a lot of times on the back of leather, so I'm not too worried about it. It depends, I guess, on how you want your leather. But yeah, cool. Here you could see I actually kind of cut into the skin, I think. I was trying to go a little too hard with the knife at a little too steep of an angle. So that's something to watch out for. I don't know. This membrane, it's really hard to tell for me what is membrane and what's not, and how much you need to get off and how hard you got to scrape it. I think that's probably something that just comes with practice. But yeah, there's a lesson learned. Maybe be a little more careful with your knife. This is already a very dull knife that I'm using, but even with that, you gotta be kind of careful. All right. Here are 2 pieces of leather after they've finished tanning. I cut them open Oh shoot, here's the one side was scraped after tanning and one side was scraped before tanning. You could tell it affected the penetration. Here's the piece that I used to check the penetration. Let me see if I can get a good view of that. Here's what it looks like. I just cut that into there today. You could see it's pretty much penetrated all the way through. For my actual piece of leather, I'll probably let it get a little bit better than that, but I'll have stronger liquors. Here's the flushing beam I'm making. Just shaving it down. Here I'm sanding it to get it even smoother. Belt sander. I cut all the boards with this chop saw. Okay, I am finally taking it out to flush it. Just got it desalted. There's some of the salt there on the street. Here's my flushing setup. See, here's the spot where I already got it. See how it's all real smooth like? And then down here's where I still need to flush. I'm going to try to get you a good angle while I work. My dad took a short video. But I'll try to get you a little more. Here I've got it sitting in the lime solution. I've got some limestones I used to hold it down. So you can see this bucket's not the best, it's bowing out. I don't know why, but the lime solution seems to get a little clear. So I've been trying to stir it up with this spoon, and I'm gonna come by here before I go to bed and stir it again. Then I'll stir it in the morning. I'll try to come by at lunch and stir it during the day. Main part is you just want to get that solution touching as much of it as possible, and that way it doesn't get any bacteria that starts to eat it up. This solution will, the purpose of the lime solution is to dehair it. I just used lime from Van Dyke's Taxidermy. But next time I think I'll probably cook my own. All you need is some limestones and a kiln. You cook those and then put them in water. Alright, thanks. Tell me when it's running. Is it running? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is... Okay, so the hide has just come out of the lime solution, and this is the dehairing process. So the lime weakens it, and it just comes off real easy. Here, you want to come and see if you can get a close view of that. You can just pull it right out, all that hair. And it's real smooth, that grain side of the hide. Now, I'm probably going to have to put it back in the lime a little bit, because this hair up here is not wanting to slip too well. Alright, you can cut it. One thing I'll say about scraping is, you could probably go a lot harder than you think you can. I was real worried when I started that I was going to damage it. The hide's actually pretty tough. Yeah, you could scrape it pretty hard. Try to do like a slicing motion when you do it, kind of like angled, and push the one side down further. Kind of hard to explain, but if you just play around with it, you'll get it. And that makes it go a lot easier. And you got to push it pretty hard to really get a lot of this crap off. Yeah, I also wanted to mention, instead of liming, you can do this process called baiting, which I think that's actually the proper way to do it, where you get like chicken poop or bran, and you kind of like ferment it and put the leather in that. And I've heard it doesn't make it stink or anything. It just I don't know, it's just the proper way to de-lime it, but I'm just using vinegar because it's easier. I'm sure it's fine. I forgot to mention, I put this towel on this beam to protect the grain side of the leather while I'm scraping it off. And you want to scrape it, like you'll see when you scrape it, it comes out like kind of cloudy, this liquid. I can't really get it out right now, but and then eventually it should come out clear. This is the scudding process where I scrape the lime out of the leather. I'll just take my draw knife and I'll kind of push all that water out. Can't do it really well with one hand, but yeah. So some of this crap will come off of there too, these little strings and crap, but that's not really what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get all that lime out of there. So we'll scrape it and then we'll put it back in the water and scrape it and put it back, and we'll rinse it and scrape it about 5 or 6 times. And then I'm going to put in some vinegar water just to neutralize whatever's left of the lime. Okay, here I have de-haired the hide. You could see right here some darker spot. I think that's caused by the blood from the bullet wound because it's on the exit wound also. So maybe that's the iron in the blood or something, I'm not sure. But it gets real smooth, like you can see here. It's really pretty once it's been de-haired. Only problem I had was up by this neck area. I don't know if you could see that, but some of these little hairs weren't coming out. I'm gonna see if after the lime comes out of the skin, I've heard it shrinks back up a bit, so maybe it will let go of those hairs then. If not, I'll probably shave them off. I ended up just not trimming it too much just because I didn't think it was that much harder to get the extra spots. There are a couple parts I trimmed off. I trimmed off like the tail and the butthole, but other than that, I've left a lot of these. I'll probably just trim them, you know, if they're ever annoying, I'll just trim them off. So yep. The back side I fleshed pretty well. There's still all this membrane on here. You can see a lot of that stuff. That will come off during the after it's been in the bark solution for a day. So yeah, I limed it for about 3 days, and now I'm gonna put it in this bucket of water, and then I'll come back and I'll keep scudding the lime out, which is where you just kind of press it out, try to scrape a lot of this extra crap off while you're doing it. And I'll do that about 5 times between today and tomorrow. Well, actually just tomorrow because I got to move my girlfriend tonight. But yeah, then after I finish scudding it, I'll put in a little bit of vinegar and just to get the pH balanced out, and then I will put in the tan solution. Okay. Now I'm going to put the vinegar in. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, use soft water if you can. The hard water tends to cause staining. So I'm just using whatever vinegar we had. It's not a lot. Now I'll fill that with some water. Put the hide in there. And mop that up so it kind of gets in there. Now I'm going to put some water in to kind of dilute it. Probably don't want it too strong. My brother's mowing the yard right now. I wish I could stop. I'm kind of pressed for time. But yeah, I think any kind of rust that touches it is bad. I wish I had a stainless steel scraper, but I don't. So you just gotta be careful not to let anything touch it for too long, because it'll make these dark spots on the leather. All right, I'm gonna fill that up some, and we'll be good to go. Alright, here it's been in the tannin solution and I'm starting to scrape this membrane off. See there, it's kind of coming off better. Let's just show you how I do that real quick. Here is the grain side after it's been sitting in the liquid for a bit. You can see there's tons of spots on it. I think that's just because it didn't get stirred quite enough. I'm hoping that evens out as the process goes forward. It's still going to be sitting in there for a while. It's only been sitting in there for the weak solution for about 3 days, and now I'm going to put in the strong solution, so try to stir that a bunch and then maybe layer it. Hopefully that will help out. Yeah, it's starting to get the consistency of leather. I'm a little worried that about these spots, but I'm not super worried. Also, I should mention the solution that I was sitting in was stinking a bit, so I think that's indicative of maybe some bacterial growth or something, but I think it'll probably be all right. We'll see. I'll let you know if it's not, so that you don't make the same mistake. Okay. Maybe get in close, yeah. You can kind of see the strength of it. Alright, that's probably good. Thanks. Okay, this is after a couple days in the stronger solution. You'd see those spots are kind of working their way out. It's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to feel like leather too. One thing I will say is probably should have gone a little easier on here, this really thin part of the skin. It's super thin, but I damaged the grain there. You could see it's kind of pulling up, so just gotta be a little cautious of that. I don't know if I'll cut that off. I'll probably just leave it on there and try to be careful around that area so that it doesn't peel up any further. If I notice that it is, then I'll probably cut it there. Other than that, I think I'm gonna try to get it layered with some bark just so we don't have to keep stirring it all the time, because currently we've been stirring it about 3 times a day, but I'm gonna be gone over the weekend, so I could try to maybe use some of that wood over there and kind of get it spaced out. So I took the leather out of the solution because I think it was getting too weak. It was really starting to kind of smell and develop like a scum on top of it, and it sat in there for about 5 days or so. It was a full strength solution, but the leather really absorbed it really quick. I think it may have been left in there a little too long, because if you look, there's like this grain looks a little loose here, might be a bit damaged. I think most of it will be okay though. Up here looks fine to me. Yeah, I think for the most part it'll be okay. So now I'm making a second batch of just full strength solution that I'm going to put it in. and hopefully that will be enough to finish it out. Just for reference, this is on the left, that's about the strength of the starter solution that I had. On the right, that's how it had become. So yeah, you definitely don't want to let it get that much weaker than that. I mean, there's basically no color. The only color left in that is probably some weird whatever was stinking. So yeah, definitely change your liquor or strengthen it more than I did. I strengthened it a little bit, and it was in pretty much full strength liquor, but yeah, you got to do it a lot at the beginning, I guess. And so yeah, just be wary of that. Here I'm chopping up my new wood that I collected from a live tree, so hopefully this will have a bit better luck with the amount of tannins that it's got. Used to give you an idea of how much bark I need collected. Might be more than I need. Used to give you an idea of how much bark I collected. It might be more than I need.